well and hope you had a lovely weekend. I'm still not in yet this week, but we'll be back to see you very soon. Hopefully this will do for you for today. So open our books. We've got the date today is Monday the 5th of October. Get that in your books and underline, please. Make sure that we are still drawing the line down the centre of our pages, folding it over, getting that nice line, and still doing that, underlining our titles, dates, etc. And here is our starter for the day. So I'm not sure if you've been given this as a handout or whether or not we need to copy it into our books. If you've been given it as a handout, that's great. Off you go. If not, please pause this video and you can copy these in first and then have a little go at them. So if you need to pause it now and copy them in. If not, with the handouts in front of you, off you go. If you need to go back and take a look at some of the starters we've done in the past to remind yourself how we do some of these, that is also fine. But otherwise, 10 minutes and get a little blast of these. You can do them all, and I'll speak to you again in 10 minutes. Thanks. Okay, here are our answers for our starters there. And we can see question 2A, the first one is 740. That's just simple subtraction. B is 594. Again, subtraction, but we're having to borrow off the neighbour there, where we can't do 7 take away 8. Okay, in that second column, we have to go to the 6 and borrow the 1 to make it 17 take away 8. So a little bit trickier compared to the first one. Question C is 80. So 20 times 4 equals 80. Of course, if we get rid of the 0 on the 20, we're left with 2. And we can do 2 times 4 is 8. And then we just bring the 0 back in. So that's, remember how we do that. D is a trickier one. So 95 times 7. Okay, so remember we do the 7 times the 5 there is 35. You put the 5 in the answer row and then you carry the 3 over. Okay, and then we do 7 times 9 is 63 and add that 3 to it, gives us 66. So we have 665, 665. E is 856 times 100. So we have 856. Because we're timesing it by 100, we just add in the 2 zeros. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And if we're adding 2 zeros in for 100, well, all we're doing for 1,000 is adding 3 zeros in. So then we have 85,000. So 85 times 1,000, 85 thousands. So there we go. So there's our answers. Get your green pen out. Make sure with your green pen you're marking this or making any changes or putting any tips or any working out in. Make sure we do that with our green pen, okay? If you had been given a handout, I'd like us to pause this now, get the glue sticks out and glue those into our books. Okay, take your time to get that real neat and get that in. If you had to write into your books, then obviously just leave it how it is. And we will move on to the main part of today's lesson. So you did 2 lessons last week, one with me and one that Miss McKay did for you, okay? And that's what we're going to carry on from the lesson that Miss McKay did with you, which we can see at the bottom here was 9.01, which is place value. So you should have done place value last week. I think it might have been last Tuesday, was it? And today we're going to do these decimals. So today's LO is to know how to add and subtract decimals. So let's get that down, please. Okay, let's get that down. And we're going to do a couple of, just 2 examples before I ask you to do the main part. Okay, so the 2 examples. So the first one I'm going to do is this one here, this very first one, this I do example here. And I'm going to want you to write that down too. So please write down 0.875 plus 0.020 plus 0.005. So let's write down that question there and then we'll go through how to do it. So, all right, let's write this in now. So 0.875 plus 0.020 plus 0.005. Okay, so notice how I've laid it out a little bit differently. The question has all the numbers in a line, and what I've done is I've taken each one and put it on top of each other and stacked it on top of each other. And the important thing there is getting these decimal points here, those dots there, they're called decimal points. We should know that. And we have to get those in line. If they're in line with each other, then we have a great chance going forwards, and we can see all the numbers after those decimal points are stacked on top of each other. That makes it very neat. So when we go to our end column on the far right hand side here, we can go 5 plus 0 plus 5, and we have 10. So 0 in the column and carry the 1. 7 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 is 10 again. So 0 in, carry the 1. 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 is 9. So that's good. And then we put our decimal place back in, okay, in the answer as well, underneath where the other ones are. So we're carrying on the decimal points underneath each other, and then 0.0.0 obviously is 0, okay? So 0.900. That's our answer there. Now to neaten that up, what we don't need are these bonus zeros here at the end. They do us no favours. We actually need to get rid of those here and here, giving us a final answer of 0.9. Okay, so please pause the video and copy down that example exactly how I've done it there so you understand the correct way to do it. Okay, and copy that down now, please. All right, so I'm going to do another example for you. It's a little bit different, okay, and I'll just show you why. All right, so this next example is this 0.875 plus 0.1 plus 1.025. So this was the next one on the sheet. You can't see it just yet, but that was the next one that comes up on the sheet. And well, you can see there's a little bit of difference here because first of all, we've got this gap here, which puts us all a bit out of balance. We've also got a 1 out front here where before we just had zeros. So, okay, a couple of things to look at there. Obviously, we've still got our decimal points in a line. Now, if we want to keep this nice and neat, what we need to do is add something into this gap here. All right, so we can add in these extra zeros because it doesn't affect the size of that number at all, but it just helps us understand the balance. So once again, we've balanced up now, filled in those gaps, and it looks much more like the first example that we did. And so this time we just do exactly the same. 5 plus 0 plus 5 is 10. 7 plus 0 plus 2 plus the 1 again is 10. And 8 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 again is 10. So all very straightforward stuff. Putting our decimal place in, and then 0 plus 0 plus 1 is 2. And there's our answer. Of course, exactly the same rules apply as before. We have these extra zeros. We don't want them. We can cancel those ones off. And we are just left with 2. And that's a nice clean answer. So again, pause the video here, please, and copy that down as an example. Okay, so once you've got those two examples down now, and they're a little bit, it's a little bit different. So we can see that the second one we just did there is that one there, that I do one there. All right, so you can see there's a little bit of difference between those two, with the shapes and the styles of the numbers. And so that in mind, with those two down, we're going to do these. You're going to do these together on you. Well, you're going to do these on your own. So we've got 12 questions. All right, I'm going to give you 2 minutes per question. That's 24 minutes. There's 9 questions, isn't there? 9 questions, so 2 minutes a question would give you 18 minutes, but I'm going to give you a bonus 2 minutes as well. So if we pause the video for 20 minutes and have a blast at those, setting them out exactly how I just set them out, with the numbers stacked on top of each other, decimal places in a row, and if you need to use those bonus zeros to even up your numbers, then put them in. All right? Okay, I'll speak to you in 20 minutes. Thanks. Okay, so here's our answers. So green pen's out. And let's mark them, crosses, ticks, and fill in anything that you need to do, any working out that you didn't do, anything you didn't get right. Let's go back with your green pen. If you did it wrong, write the right answer in, see where you went wrong, see where the mistakes might have been, and take a bit of time to do that. So let's take 3 or 4 minutes to take a look at that now. So pause this, and then I'll see you in 5 minutes for the next section. Okay, so obviously if we've done addition, we now need to look at subtraction of decimals, and it's exactly the same, just in the reverse process. So I'm only going to do the one example. We're just going to use this one here. It's 0.8 minus 0.78. We're just going to do that. And when we're subtracting, we want it to look exactly the same. We want them stacked on top. We want the decimal places in a line. Okay, there's no real change to what we want. So 0.8, let's say take away 0.78. All right. So what's our issue here that you can see straight away? Go on. Yeah, good. We've got this blank here. Very good. So because of that, what we're going to put in there, there you go. Need that 0 in there, and then we can start doing our sums because everything's nice and neat. So 0 take away the 8, we can't do it. What do I have to do? Yep, that becomes a 7. That becomes a 1. So we now have 10 take away 8, which we know would be 2. 7 take away the 7 is 0. Get our decimal point in a line. And then 0 take away 0 is also 0. And there's our basic answer there, 0.02. And that's fine how that is. That looks great. There's no noughts on the end that we need to get rid of. That looks super. So that's how we do that. Okay? Very, very straightforward. And very similar to doing the addition. Okay? There's our 9 questions for subtraction. 20 minutes for that. And I will speak to you in 20 minutes' time. Okay, guys, so there's our answers. Okay, let's make sure we use the green pen, write them down, tick them, cross them, make the changes you need to make. Okay, very good. All right, so that should just about do it for today. However, if you've still got a little bit of time left, we'll just take a little look going forwards for multiplying decimals. So this is what we're going to do in a bit more depth next lesson. So just wonder if anything you've learned today means you can start to think about how you do those, maybe. So those of you who want to push ahead and need a little bit of extension work today, you can try those too. 0.12 times 1.1. How would you go about doing that? What could you do to maybe to times those? How could you do that? And 0.12 times 0.9. Have a little blast at that, all right, if you've got time. And if you've got even more time, there's 2 trickier ones you can take a look at as well. All right, so nice speaking with you all. And next lesson we will do this multiplication in much more detail and then division. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Thanks very much and well done today. And I'll see you in a bit. Thanks, guys.